Friends and fans of MLE, it's time for a little bit of change. We're not going to change up the intensity of the action, but we're moving it to the Masters League. We're moving it to doubles. And here with me, the epitome, the meaning of change himself, Delta. How are you doing this evening, Delta?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself? And it's still there I am. Took a bit to get me in.
Like we said, it's all about change. But this Master Clash that we've got going on tonight, I think it's going to be a wondrous event, and I think this is going to be no change from the action, the heat that we have had going on at this start of the summer.
No, I mean, both teams obviously a lot to fight for. Right now, on the side of the Pandas, they have been struggling this season, sitting near the bottom of the league, near the bottom of their conference. 8-17 going into this, so they have some room, but there's still time. They need to try to turn around now. On the other side, the Wizards currently hanging on to that final playoff spot, so really need to try to get every single win. They're only, I think, 2-game wins up on their opponents for that last spot, and however, for them, with a good enough record here, they could even try to push for that top spot. 4 wins will get them that number 1 spot outright in the Mystic Division, so they have a lot to play for here too.
Now, the fascinating thing about this as we move into the game, Delta, is that even though the win-loss record is so vastly different, their series records are identical. So this is actually much bigger than it would appear on paper, despite the fact that the Pandas have been having a rough season. If they can come out with this, they really show that they can start to break out into the middle of the pack. Off the kickoff, Dan in the backfield, taking this really slow. This is a very, very interesting start because no one's really trying to move too heavy out the gate. This is very much feeling each other out, testing the waters, trying to find an opening, and it doesn't look like there's anything showing just yet.
Yeah, so much on the line, as well as the pressure for being on stream, but Dan not feeling that pressure. Just sending that one into the back of the net.
Easy pop over top. I didn't think that Doodle was quite ready for that flick. So, easy lead start for the Pandas. I'm hoping to see a little bit more tempo, a little more aggression out of the Wizards than we've been seeing in these first 30 seconds.
Definitely need more. You cannot afford to try to fall behind. Yes, it's a comeback is possible, but the more goals you let in as the second one, Unforgiven, doubling the lead.
Not looking too great so far for the Wizards. Again, the Pandas playing a pretty casual, relaxed tempo, but they're coming away with a lot of consistency. They're getting these good, easy touches. This feels like another day at the park for the Pandas.
Definitely. The Wizards just really seem like they are just kind of unsure of it. You're seeing they're leaving these wide open back ends. They haven't really felt comfortable at all with anything so far in this first minute and change.
They might have an opportunity here. Ball going deep into the Pandas' territory. Wizards not ready to chase this one down, though. Doodle taking possession on the Pandas' back wall, not going to find an infield pass. 7 playing back this time. They definitely feel intimidated by the Pandas' pressure, and Unforgiven getting a big booming clear. He might get an opportunity off the back wall. No one there to pick it up. Wizards going to start their own game, their own aggression, pop over to the crossbar. 7's there, will put a mark on the board for the Wizards.
And using that backboard to the full advantage, trying to send that one in high, luckily setting up a perfect pass for 7, able to get that friendly roll off the post behind the last defender, finally putting something on the board. Now they need still another, they want to try to get back, they want to get that equalizer.
Strong offense here from the Pandas off the kickoff. Unforgiven pushed into his opponent's net, though. Doodle taking this slow, waiting for possession, has a lot of room on the pitch, but Dan shrinking that quickly. A big challenge from the Pandas, forcing it to the back wall. The Wizards going to again take this slow, getting a lot of room in front of them, but as soon as the ball leaves their car, it is picked up by a Panda every time. This is brutal to watch.
Yeah, and it seems like the slow plays playing right into the Pandas' hands. It's one thing it's about is making your opponents play a game that they don't want to play and how you want to play. Right now, the Wizards are playing right into the Pandas' playstyle, how they want to be doing it. This slow, kind of dragged out gameplay, it really benefits the Pandas, and the Wizards haven't really been doing too much to change it up.
Now, the Pandas did get themselves, the Wizards did get themselves a little give-and-go play early on in the shot opportunity. It did get the strong clear. I'd like to see a little more of that in their backfield. However, Wizard Doodle going to put that one on target, barely off the sidebar. Doodle continuing the oppressive aggression off this side. Wouldn't Forgiven is in front of the net. Gets the clear away. Seven still in position. Wizards trying to find something, but they have to play so far back. This is just going to turn into another shot if Pandas could read it. Dan ready to mop this one up.
It's never a good sign when the only one between the ball and the net is your opponent as well. It seems like they've been caught just pushing too quickly, too far up towards midfield. It's not like it's these full overcommits. It's just an overkit enough to leave that back portion, that back really third, completely open.
I tell you what I feel, Delta. What I feel right now is I think the Pandas are threes mains. They're definitely playing in this way, in this rotational style that feels very similar to what you expect in threes with somebody already rotating back. And Seven's going to put another boomer onto net, so the Wizards do get this opportunity to close the gap a little bit on transition.
It is a great transition play here, not giving the defense time to get set, and that's really what we need to see. Is they've given that defense time to get set. They've given the Pandas that pretty much a lot of opportunities that time they need to get set, as a chance here Doodle able to close it out.
Doodle continuing to clear this one out. You've got two players for the Wizards in position. Pandas clearing directly to them. Demo out on the backfield, but a strong 50-50 from Unforgiven taking the breakaway. Will they get the cut? Infield out to Dan. Dan looking for the open center of the pitch. Instead, though, the Wizards will get this one out. Not enough, as another shot rings on target for the Pandas.
It's just almost this awkward. We see Seven just misreading it, going for a boost that one isn't even there, and two at a time when you see your opponent is still in a potential attacking position, and it's one of those cardinal sins that boost over ball, and it's mistakes like that in position that really have been the issue for the Wizards so far.
Delta, do you think that the Wizards are giving the Pandas enough respect for their offensive shots?
I'm not sure. It does seem like, I mean, it's tough to tell. It seems like they're not even in position to have that. It's almost like, I guess they aren't, but a lot of it does seem that they aren't even really having that conversation.
It's a fair point. You know, Rocket League is a lot like a conversation a lot of times, and in this case, it does feel like it's a little bit disconnected between the Pandas and the Wizards. The Pandas are having their own train of conversation, and then the Wizards just break this apart and start talking about trains.
Unfortunately, they're the ones right now off track. If they need to get back on, they will drop this first game 4-2, and this is not the result they were looking for.
So game one will be the mundane over the arcane. The Wizards need to shape up a little bit, find the appropriate spell to come back into this one. And the Pandas, they've even got a player who's a Blizzard wizard, just as a little way of hammering home that they are the real magic on this pitch today.
Yeah, if you're looking at it, the Wizards actually coming ahead in this one on the shot total, 7-6, relatively close. One of the big things, though, was that defense for the Pandas. 4 saves, only a single one put up by the Wizards. It really was just that, and part of it just seemed like the Wizards were never in position defensively.
That's what I was talking about. I feel like there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of respect that you have to give at this level of Rocket League. And a big portion of that is respecting when your opponent can make shots. The Wizards, they're going for the boost, they're trying to play very positional, they're trying to play very aggressive, but it means you lose so much in transition unless you really catch these rotations spot on. So I'd like to see the Wizards pick up their pace of play, but in doing so, be more mindful, more respectful of Unforgiven and Dan's ability to shoot from anywhere on the pitch.
And they're leaving just these wide open potential shooting air lanes. They're almost, I guess, expecting to be taken straight to the net and kind of playing back for that. You can't do that when you have shooters who are willing and able to make those shots. And right now, they're just allowing these shots. The Pandas, they're just going to take them.
All right, Wizards trying to start this one off, though. Seven getting a little bit of a slow play again off the wall, trying to bait some defenders out. Unforgiven takes the bait, but there's nobody home to send that away. Seven has to play it off the back wall, so low on boost. Going to find the full refill, but not any position as Dan sends it careening to the Wizards half and will open the floodgates with the first goal.
And something I'm seeming to notice, it seems that every time you see this partial breakup where you have that one player for the Wizards breaking out, the other player, they're not around midfield, they're not even center to the box, they are in the corners, and it seems like the Pandas have been able to take advantage of that perfectly. We need to see them changing their defensive positioning up, not leaving that midfield open, but Doodle just going to leave the net open on that.
All right, I think that's the strategy here for the Wizards. Forget the idea of the defensive rotation. Doodle's just going to put a boomer in the upper 90, an absolute catastrophic shot to open up the defense of the Pandas. Here in the kickoff, ooh, bad beat here. Pandas not going to get the kickoff goal, but they get a lot of possession here, a lot of pressure immediately off the kickoff. It's going to go careening in towards net, and that lob is more than enough for the Pandas to again take the lead.
There you see Seven just caught turning and not able to side flip. Unfortunate there, going away from the ball instead of where he wanted, and that will let in the goal.
This master clash is really a master class from the Pandas on how to mount an effective pressure-based offense. And the Wizards get these long shots, they get these booming clears when they can find their power, but the problem is that the pressure coming out of the Pandas just turns this into an absolute stranglehold on the pitch. Seven trying to dribble this one out, will get it out to the corner. Will they find a mark? No. Strong defense off the backboard, though. It looks like the Pandas might find something. They're going to find a clear downfield, not on target yet. Wizards trying to get this away from their net, and they're going to do so.
However, quickly right back in, and just the communication still does not feel like it is there for the Wizards. We're seeing just rotational oddities that, for me, seem to make zero sense with a team that is in that constant communication.
Feels like they've got their tunes on, maybe just focused a little bit too much, just taking it easy, not necessarily hard calming immediately, and that's a perfectly valid way to play Rocket League. You don't have to sweat immediately until it's time to really bust out and to take all of these stops out.
But
Wizards
it definitely
here,
feels
good opportunity from Seven, pops up in front of the net, chasing, looks for the double, dunks it down for the equalizer. Seven putting up a second.
And just a clear, I'm not sure I'm there. We see Unforgiven taking an attacker out of the play, but it doesn't help when you have to then struggle to get up when you had the time to set it up earlier.
Alright, Pandas looking to get their own counterattack this time, get a little bit of revenge for the last goal. However, this is turning the way of the Wizards, looking to meet a mark in midfield. What was that play? Nice catch off the corner by the Wizards to hold this one out, pinch into midfield. Not a lot of juice on it though. Dan's going to be able to clear this one away. Doodle holding on the wall, takes it off the ceiling. But not any juice on it again. These shots are not credible threats, but they are threats. Dan will push that away to the corner. There's no clear in sight for the Pandas.
They should be able to get one here and just it does feel like we're starting to see more from the Wizards, but the Pandas still seem to be the better team here, as that one will go just wide.
Pandas starting to get their pressure put back on, but I've seen a lot more life out of the Wizards. What a save by Doodle, clearing that one out from front of the net, and now chasing it downfield. Dunks on Unforgiven. Seven's in position. Let's take this a little bit slower. Pops in field. Doodle's there for it. Upper 90, and for the first time, we are seeing the Wizards come to life, dropping that in and taking the lead.
And it seems like they're finally communicating, working together, a passing play executed to perfection. And that's what we need to be seeing from them, is we need to see them focus on the teamwork. Don't just play every man for himself, play like a team.
That's one of the most important things in twos. A lot of the high-level twos can feel like two sets of 1v1s, but in this case, you've got to find a way of turning that 1v1 into an advantage for the opposing 1v1 that your teammate's going to be able to take. Unforgiven dribbling in, going to try to flick over top. Seven's there for it, ready to pick this up. That advantage generated by Doodle, but oh no, a clumsy touch. Seven's going to be able to push that one away. A demo as well by Doodle. Looking to carry this one in. There's nothing but net in front, and the Wizards casting the spell, finding the arcane, and turning this into a Fantasia show.
And just props to Doodle on that one, taking their time. You see far too often players in those situations, they see the open net, and their eyes just get too big for their own good. They start rushing the shot, not focusing, recognizing you have the time, slow it down, find your shot, make sure it's on target. Exactly what Doodle did there.
Ooh, bit of a counterattack there from the Pandas at least. Dan finds one off of the sidewall. The Pandas are not out of this. They are not endangered yet. But you've got to be careful. You've got to get the preservation attempts out there, because the Pandas are in risk still of losing this game too.
Yeah, it's still up in the air, is still very much anyone's game, as early on here we're seeing though, but Doodle just taking it in himself.
That's a nasty little double touch there from Doodle. Reads it off the back wall, baits Unforgiven up, dunks it down right underneath. That's the second time we've seen Doodle pull that kind of flim-flammery. Doodle now looking to get a little bit more. We're down to 45 seconds remaining in game two. The Wizards want to get themselves on the board, on the series board. Again, Pandas have been having a pretty tough series so far, pretty tough season. If the Wizards don't manage to take this game, it really shows a big sign of life for the Pandas, but I think the Wizards have found their groove. They've finished the download. And at this point, they're just ready to kill the clock. Seven controlling it. Nice little fake. Going to pop over both defenders. Leave it for Doodle. Pummeling towards the net. Off the backboard. Misses the read. One more opportunity for the Pandas. It's going to be sword over the net. And regardless, this will be game 1-1 between the Wizards and the Pandas.
And it really felt like Wizards, it was taking them time to get sorted. It was taking them time to really have everything under control. It's here, but another thing to note, once again, the team winning is the team that is behind on shots. 8 shots for the Wizards compared to 10 for the Pandas.
It really goes to show just how much of twos is about smart play, about rotational play, about not over-committing to your shots. Sure, you can put a lot of things on net, and the Wizards did it last game, the Pandas did it this game, but overall, the amount of pressure that you put on the net doesn't make any difference if you can't stop the clear, if you can't keep the defense going. You don't have the third man back in doubles. I mean, it seems obvious, but you really do have to take into consideration what's the lowest risk play that's still going to result in a positive benefit for your team.
It's so much, it's that different mentality you have to have. It's every game mode's a unique mentality. You can't be going into 3s, 2s, 1s with the same exact thought process. It's not going to work, and as you get into these higher and higher levels, that is even more so the truth. It's even more so how things are going to work. If you want to be successful in 2s, you can't be thinking in that 3s mindset. You have to be in that twos mindset. And we were seeing, I was trying earlier, how the Pandas were playing almost like a threes team earlier, and it seems like that is finally coming back to bite them.
Right, the chickens are coming home to roost. I don't know if Pandas have a similar expression. Oh, kickoff goal perhaps? No. Doodle racing back to save with a speed flip. They'll take this off of their own backboard. Out to 7, but intercepted by Dan. Dan has so much pitch in front of them. 7 tries to race in on that one. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bit of a sacrificial goal here.
Yeah, just trying to push away, trying to prevent a follow-up opportunity that was wide open. Unfortunately, not able to get the friendly roll off of that crossbar to force it out instead, getting that touch into their own goal.
Oh, Dan tried to beat this one out. Really, really good touches on these 50-50s. Unforgiven off the backboard. Dan's not there for it. Return play from the Wizards, but there is nobody that far downfield. I think that Dan's going to be able to slow this one down enough to start turning it into a possession play, but just like that, the big clears again. Unforgiven has to be on the backfield. Good catch, out with the air dribble, low on boost. Going to be losing possession of this one, but Dan with big 50-50 starts the pressure up, steals the boost, but loses the clear, and 7's going to take this one all the way into Pandas territory.
It seems like these teams are just content to just play that dump and chase game, to just boom this one on, hope for something positive, hope for a chance to get back to it. We're not seeing them really trying to take control through the midfield.
And that's a really difficult thing to do in a lot of cases, though. Even at this high of a level, you've got to have the trust to get a pass out there, and passes are commitment. We talked before about that overextension, that overcommitment, and this might be these teams' way of playing a lower risk game of dump and chase.
It's definitely that low risk game, but it is really also that low rewards. We haven't really seen these teams put themselves as often into good offensive position, into a chance where they can really create the offense that they need. It's just turning possession over as soon as you're done defending.
Dan might be able to push on through. 7 stealing that away. Wizards now with the aggression. They have possession in the opposing side in front of the net, and Doodle's going to equalize out of the air.
And finally, we see some good possession. We see 7 controlling that one from midfield in towards the net and setting up that perfect pass from Doodle. That was what was missing for a while, is these controlled plays through the midfield in towards the net rather than just booming it down the whole field.
7 trying to control this one. Gets a bit of a heavy touch, though, unfortunately. The big demo, 50-50 win by Dan. You've got the moment, the open net, and the nerves are not too powerful. Dan springs it ahead for the Pandas.
Yeah, 7 just forced into an awkward position, needing to win that 50 to even have a chance at preventing a goal, and unfortunately, Dan will get the better of that challenge.
It's really smart plays out of the Pandas to force that demolition, be able to take the advantage downfield. Wizards trying to get their similar play with Doodles trying to break away, but instead they're forced to drop pass. 7 big booming clear again, chasing this with the air dribble, but not enough control. Dump and chase again. Doodle takes possession off the ceiling, but deep in his own territory. Attempted a pinch play. Wizards going to give up possession. Unforgiven tries to start the aggression for the Pandas, bouncing off the ceiling, a bit of a waterfall play towards the corner, in towards the shooting lane, barely north, forcing both players to jump by the Wizards, but 7's going to be able to get away, play a one-on-one against Unforgiven, barely saved and sent to the corner. The Pandas are holding strong, standing tall, and standing resolute.
But potential chance here, Doodle not able to connect, and we are seeing life out of the Wizards. They just haven't been able to find that finishing touch.
Ooh. Wizards getting this one out of their own territory for the moment, but a strong, very close play by the Pandas so far. Unforgiven, not in position. Dan's there to pick up the redirect and save it. Very, very close stuff here. Wizards try to get their offense going, but the shooting lanes stay closed. The Pandas, do you know why Pandas are so dangerous?
Not sure why. Is it because of that?
Well, it's because they're kind of these silent killers. You know, when they go on offense, all they do is they eat, shoots, and leaves.
I'm honestly not sure how to respond to that.
That's
should have seen that coming and did not see it coming.
That's the same way the Wizards were. They did not expect the eat, shoots, and leaves play from the Pandas. Putting up the extra goal, getting one more out in front, down to the last minute, and the Wizards might be the endangered species here, moving into Game 3.
They really needed to try to take control of a series that on paper they were heavy favorites in, but we see too often in those situations you have teams that just wind up overlooking their opponents as Seven just over the top of that ball, giving Unforgiven a clean pass to the net.
Pretty nasty stuff here. Those breakaways are something that you've got to be so cautious of, especially in twos when you don't have the third player back. So you've got to think about, am I going to be able to connect with this, or do I just need to bail, let them take possession, let them take a heavy touch, and play it closer to the net? Same way you'd play one sometimes.
So a lot of it is recognizing what your opponent's giving you, what you need in order to beat that, and the Wizards... they don't have a chance here.
Seven. Doodle's not able to put it on target, though. You got to rotate back. Seven's there for it. Not going to pick up the boost. Now the Pandas have the opportunity of really sealing this one away. They just need to kill the clock, and they're more than happy to do so, but they might find one more to seal the deal. As Dan goes up, chips it in front of the net. This one should touch down and end for the Pandas here.
It should, and it will. The Pandas taking Game 3. Now just one more win for them to take the series here. For the first time, we do have the team coming up ahead in the shot total, coming ahead in the goals as well. 9 shots to 3 in favor of the Pandas.
You know, one of the things that I was looking at with the Pandas, because, you're right. On paper, the Wizards should be taking this one, but they're reasonably close, especially in series score. Now, the thing about the Pandas is they tend to lose in dominating style when they lose. But the games that they win, the series that they've won, are very close. They only have 8 games in their series overall that they've won, which means that you got a lot of these 3-2s, you got maybe a couple of 4-1s. The fact that they're being so contentious here with the Wizards, if their stats are anything to give record of, means that the Pandas have a really, really solid chance of taking this one away in games 4 and 5.
It's definitely a team that, wants these close, dragged-out series that tend to result in these close series scores. They want these games where it becomes this more of a war of attrition rather than just a track meet. And part of that is when you have a team that's able to prevent that from happening, you will struggle. And right now, you are not in that situation. The Wizards are allowing the Pandas to play their game. They are allowing the Pandas to really just play this slow, possession-oriented game and not really forcing the Pandas to be uncomfortable.
So what do you think, what kind of modifications would you like to see the Wizards making here to really start forcing that discomfort out?
Honestly, just more pace. It seems like the Wizards are not pushing the pressure up. They are not really forcing this to be a high-speed game. Their best moments have been when they've been able to get out and try to get stuff quickly, when they've been able to have these moments of just this rapid-fire gameplay. We haven't seen that, though, in any real long period of time.
Doodle's trying to start up that kind of play, but again, the defense from the Pandas is holding out pretty strong. It's very hard to find anything clean, not able to find any connections in the passing game, and the Wizards, once again, resorting to these long balls, the chases up the side. They're not finding a connection, and oh no, Dan's there, going to finish this one off and get the Pandas ahead 1-0 here in Game 4.
And it seems like they got one of the 2 parts. They have been aggressive, but you have to have controlled aggression. You can't have just a completely open field like that. And it seems like they know they need to push more. They need to try to find that pressure, but you need to stay controlled within that aggression.
It almost feels like you need to have just more individual performance. We talked about team play earlier, but when you're trying to commit 2 players onto offense, you're going to have this kind of counterattack as Dan 720 continuing to be a tour de force on the pitch.
The 7 just needing to make that hero play to even prevent that first shot, but does not lead to a position for any sort of save on the rebound. And we're getting a lot of that, these things where you really have just that one play that needs to be made in a way that keeps the ball away, as this one said, because send it straight into Unforgiven.
Oh, this is so tragic. I'm really afraid that the Wizards are just out of mana at this point. They're not able to find anything in the tank to stop this aggression. This is turning into a track meet, exactly the kind of game that we said the Pandas didn't want, but they're more than happy to turn this one around.
It's, I'd say, less of a track meet and more just almost just a shooting practice. They're just running these shooting drills on the real lack of defense at times from the Wizards. This one, the defense is disappearing for the Pandas. The Wizards will find their first in this game.
Just like that, if you get a little bit too cocky, Pandas can give up goals too. But 7 puts up very, very low pace, just focusing on the accuracy. No nerves there, no fear with how slow the Pandas were to rotate back. Doodle,
just
big shot off the kickoff here. Take it to the corner, wants to equalize this. This team is hungry. Dan scrumming out in the corner. This is a very, very close brawl. Unforgiven's going to break it away, send it to the opposing corner. And now Dan starts sent downfield. A bad touch by the Wizards means that Dan's going to pressure onto the net. This one's out towards the shooting lane, but Unforgiven can't pick it up. And now the Wizards get their counterattack opportunity. Fast rotations back. The Pandas are ready. They stand tall, and that's not going anywhere near the net yet.
No, it's right now they are able to just kind of sit secure on these leads, and it seems they're more comfortable. They're not a team that needs to be winning by 5-6 goals. They're fine just taking that 2-goal lead. You have that security blanket, you have the insurance goal, and yes, if an opportunity like this comes, take it, but they really aren't pushing overly hard when they don't need to.
And if nothing else, it's stats padding. You know, it's just as important when you're on one of these teams to perform well as a team, to take the games, to take the series, as it is to be intimidating and have these high averages, just big shooting games to really strike fear into the hearts of future opponents.
And one thing I want to point out that I keep noticing is on these kickoffs. We're seeing the Wizards continuously playing these kickoffs very passively. We're seeing that second man not really trying to push into any sort of offense, really almost afraid to go past midfield after the kickoff. We're seeing the Pandas, if they win the kickoff, they want the pressure right away. And it seems like a lot of times, while we do see the Wizards scoring here, it's almost a microcosm of what we're seeing throughout this entire series.
Well, they get the point when they push their second player forward, so Doodle's going to punish this time, but at the same time, like you said, with this more defensive style, Doodle coming in, alright, we're going to just go ahead and just say that the entire concept there, they heard us, they're ready to make that adjustment. The Wizards, recognizing they're running out of time, down to 2 minutes, they've got to take the kickoffs a little bit more aggressive. Doodle was trying to do that here. 7 puts a shot in towards net, not a threat yet. Taking possession, taking control, runs it out to the corner. Continues to try to make these credible threats and a little bit of bodying on the way out. Pandas pick up possession, get it around 1. 7's going to take this up the net, take it nice and slow. Wait, draw in Dan. Now pushing downfield, Unforgiven gets the half volley. A lot of pressure. Meets the pass, but it's a little bit of a clumsy angle. Dan might not get too much out of this unless it's a fantastic miracle play. No such animal. The Pandas have to play back now. 7 getting one more opportunity, broken up by Unforgiven. Unforgiven for the Pandas. They want a little bit more security, a little more demoralization, but in the end, they're happy to kill the clock.
And a lot of it is they're really just happy to let the Wizards beat themselves in this. We've seen just these unforced errors that the Pandas have done a great job capitalizing on. And they're really playing the gameplay once they have this lead, this multi-goal lead, where they are fine just sitting back and letting those mistakes come. They will not come here as Doodle will make it a one-goal game again.
Really smart play, pushing that one up outside of target on near post to set up Doodle for that play. You really forced the defense on because they thought that was going to be an upper 90 perfect corner shot.
They did
here, trying to get the extra goal. However, the Wizards, so much room in front of them. Just need to beat one defender, dribbling over top. But they're ready. Dan pushing that one away to the corner. Desperate defense, not wanting to go into overtime, not wanting to give up momentum. But I think the Pandas have it in them. One more shot opportunity. Doodle sets it up, double touch, out to the teammate, but it's not enough. Unforgiven trying to stall, trying to kill time. Out towards the shooting lane, has to take it down. And beautiful run-in by Dan to knock this to the ground in Game 4.
And speaking of forwards, it seems like that's the magic number for the Pandas, as in every single one of their victories, they've gotten 4 goals. Just now, a bit of a weird note, the shot totals, even in this one, 7-7, but it really feels like the Pandas are just focused on doing what they need to do to keep control, not really trying to let things get too out of hand either way.
Now, you want to know something that's really interesting about this post-game, though, Delta? The difference between the Pandas and the Wizards this game was 1 unassisted goal. Everything the Wizards did was an assisted goal. They're playing this teamwork game. They're putting the 2-player pressure forward. But the Pandas, they've got 3 assists as well, 4 goals. So the solo play, the solo instrumentation, or just the punish is the difference between these teams. And I feel like that has been the case every single game. When the Wizards lose, it's because they're getting punished, because they're overextending. The Pandas, they're still taking those, but it's always a team play from the Wizards, the pass into punish.
Yeah, and it's definitely been more the punishes than the solo plays. So I haven't really seen, anyone from the Pandas go out and making that solo play really just trying to style the Wizards. It's always been just a shot made off of a bad touch or a mistake from the Wizards. It's always these punishes. And that's when the Pandas have played this punish game to perfection.
But that's all that you really need to do in Rocket League. You're more than happy just picking up on your opponent's mistakes. They're going to make less mistakes as you get higher up, but that still happens. Nobody is perfect. Just like the Wizards here, will be taking this out of their own territory, trying to force imperfection from the Pandas in Game 5. Pandas a very, very awkward place, and that's going to be the benchmark of imperfection and punishment as Doodle comes flying in to punish this awkward defense.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that is the first time in this entire series that the Wizards have been the one with the opening goal.
I believe you are correct. No, you are absolutely correct, actually. The Wizards coming away, and they've been usually this kind of come from behind, I'd call it a download team. But here, the Wizards already starting off with their momentum. They're already happy to come away with this series, but it's looking pretty tough to come back into it now for the Pandas.
The Pandas already securing the series win here as they are up 3-1 going into this game number 5. And really, for the Pandas, this is about getting those wins on the board, getting themselves into striking position of that playoff spot, and they are definitely doing that here today.
I also think it's kind of about making a statement to the other teams. If you've been slept on, if you've had a tough season, you start to worry that nobody's taking you seriously. In MLE, we don't really have that kind of culture, but you always worry about it. There's always that aspect of self-consciousness. So if you can move into the middle of the pack, if you can get some big wins, then it just starts making you feel more confident. It makes you feel better about your chances moving forward when you have to deal with some of the real killers in the bracket. Ooh, Unforgiven just going to spike this one forward. Awkward defense from the Wizards. This time that punish game coming in again. A soft touch from Dan, making that so hard to answer.
Yeah, and awkward to say the least. It's just been far too often for the Wizards, this kind of uncomfortable, really, they don't seem like they know what the Pandas are going to do. And it's like the Pandas are being this, crazy, unpredictable team. It's just that it seems the Wizards are unprepared.
Maybe that's the X factor for the Pandas. They're a wider variant team. There's something that's not playing the style of Rocket League that you've grown accustomed to on the Wizards, or maybe against some of these higher performing teams. And unless you can start making that adaptation, as the Pandas put in another one off the corner, unless you can start making that kind of adaptation, it becomes really hard to adjust to them.
Yeah, and it does seem like the Wizards have really, throughout this entire series, struggled to adjust, struggled to adapt. They've tried to play the exact same game style, the exact same real game plan throughout all 5 games, and other than that game number 2 victory, it has not worked.
Not at all. The Pandas are taking possession, they're taking tempo. Unforgiven's trying to pummel the net, and Dan's going to put it in towards target. It's not a threatening shot, but it is a shot. It must be answered, and Unforgiven will find the open net once more. The Wizards' defense is looking like Swiss cheese.
And these are those unassisted goals that you've seen. They aren't these little plays. These are just balls being left in space for a long shot onto net from the Pandas, and the Pandas have done an excellent job hitting their shots when they get them. They are taking what's given to them and using it to perfection. A bump here will allow for Unforgiven a bit more flair on that shot, but still just awkward in position.
Tried to address that in the midfield. Unforgiven here. I really like that style. I really like the fact that, you're ahead, and maybe it's not the flip reset, really flashy solo play stuff that you expect out of like freestylers, but when it comes to league play, the fact that they're just getting these little tips, the little plays and the extra touches that give you a little more indication of your own personal mechanical skill, I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's so much more Rocket League than just, those fancy mechanics that will look great in clip reels, that look great in those montages. It's about what will get you results, and the simple plays executed to perfection will be more often than not what will do that.
Wizards need to find something here to at least take a second game in the series. But as it's been all series long, this is a bit of a struggle for them. They can't even get out of their own backfield right now. Unforgiven almost putting up a 6th goal. Dan tries to put this out. Really solid defense, chasing that one down by 7, but this lob is dangerous. Unforgiven puts it in space, looks for the double, and that's one for the highlight reel.
It seems like now they're starting to at least make these highlight reel plays. It seems like they didn't want to earlier, but now, and also, they aren't making it really seem like just because they have to. It seems like really Unforgiven wanted that shot on in the first place, couldn't find it, and was like, okay, I guess I'll take this double touch. It wasn't, I'm gonna make this double touch on you. It was a, hey, I guess that's gonna be, and Unforgiven again. It's just it seems like these are just these casual high-level mechanics.
I said it before, I said it in Game 1, that it really feels like the Pandas are having another day in the park, and Game 5, the story ends where it begins. This is a return to form for the Pandas. They're in the park, they're having their bamboo. This is everything that is comfortable and happy for this team.
I mean, they found the Brazil with over 90 seconds to play. It's just a casual, just another day in the office for them. They are just playing how they want to, not really trying to force anything, and they're not needing to force anything.
How often do you see pandas in Brazil? I didn't think they had them there.
Maybe at the zoos. That's probably about it.
And I think that the Pandas aren't reluctant to put up another goal, but at the same time, there's not too much pressure from them. I think they're even more relaxed than they have been now that they've put up the Brazil. 7 taking it downfield, looking for a solo play. Dan is there to pick this one up, take it in front of the net. And Dan looking to style up. Doodle's there, gets the chase down to knock away. Doesn't look like there's too much more, though, that the Wizards have in their tank. Nice
really
chase
not
down
much.
there from Unforgiven. Gets that away from the backboard, stays up, looking for a play. Dan still holding defense. Panda's looking pretty well informed here.
Yeah, it does seem like just everything is... And that's really how it's been this whole series. They've never seemed uncomfortable. They've never seemed flustered. They've always seemed, other than maybe a couple moments here and there, like they are in control and that, you know, they can just play how they want to play. And that's what they've done. They will get the 8th at 0 seconds. Unforgiven, just gonna tap it in.
I think the way to put it, Delta, is that there's moments of anxiety, there's brief moments of panic, but overall the Pandas have felt very secure with their games this series, and that's a strong showing from them in this master clash that we've got going this evening.
Just looking at the stats here, I mean, the shot total, 15-5, just... I mean, that, and one thing I'm going to... Unforgiven, 7 of the 8 goals. Dan still, 5 assists. I mean, these are the kind of numbers you expect to see, you don't see at this level.
Honestly, when you're looking at the Pandas, they made their own Brazil with 7 shots from Unforgiven, or 7 goals from Unforgiven and 1 from Dan. But that's just, you know, that's the way that Rocket League goes. Sometimes you have those games where you absolutely pop off. And it's all the better in a Game 5 when you've already won the series, you've already taken it away, and you've already said, you know, you thought we were kind of a weaker, a little bit of a behind team. Take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, these are just... The Pandas really just came here to play. The Wizards, they never really were able to get set. And that was really the story here of the series, and that will be it for this series, but that will not be it for us. We will be going to a quick, or maybe less quick, but we will be going to a break before our final series of the night. Staying here at the Master League, staying here in twos. We will have the Hurricanes taking on the Express.